The rain was pounding against my window like angry fists, each drop a whisper of something terrible coming my way. It was 2 a.m., and I was wide awake, staring at the ceiling of my tiny apartment, the kind of place where dreams go to hide from the world. My name is Elena, and for the past 2 years I've been running from my past, building a life brick by fragile brick. But that night, the past didn't just knock, it crashed through my door. I heard it first, a soft thud, like a body hitting the wet pavement outside. My heart jumped into my throat. I pulled on my robe, my bare feet cold against the wooden floor as I crept to the window. The streetlight flickered, casting long shadows that danced like ghosts. There, slumped against the steps of my building, was a figure I hadn't seen in years. Her dark hair matted with rain, her thin frame shaking, not just from the cold, but from something deeper, something broken. It was my little sister, Mia. "Oh God, Mia," I whispered to myself, my breath fogging the glass. She looked so small, so lost. Her wheelchair was tipped over beside her, wheels spinning uselessly in a puddle. Mia's legs had betrayed her since she was 12, after that car accident that stole her steps and left her with a limp that turned into nothing at all. Doctors called it spinal damage. Mom called it a curse. But seeing her there, collapsed in the storm, it hit me like lightning. Why was she here? How did she even get here? We hadn't spoken since I left home, since I couldn't take one more day of the poison that seeped through our walls. I flung open the door, the wind whipping my face as I rushed down the steps. Mia, wake up!" My voice cracked, swallowed by the rain. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open, those big brown eyes that used to light up when I'd push her swing at the park. Now they were dull, filled with pain and fear. "Elena, help!" "Please," she murmured, her words weak, like threads ready to snap. I knelt beside her, my hands trembling as I tried to right the wheelchair. Her skin was ice cold, her breath shallow and ragged. Was it her heart? An infection? Panic clawed at my chest. I fumbled for my phone in my pocket, dialing 911 with fingers that wouldn't stop shaking. "Yes, emergency. My sister, she's collapsed outside my apartment. She's disabled, can't walk, and she's not responding well." "Hurry, please!" The operator's calm voice was my lifeline. "Stay with her, ma'am. Help is on the way." But as I held Mia's hand, whispering that it would be okay, my phone buzzed again. Not a call, a text. From Mom. My blood turned to ice as I read the words, "Don't save that cripple." I stared at the screen, the rain blurring the letters, but they burned into my soul. Don't save that cripple. My own mother. The woman who raised us or tried to, now typing those words like they were nothing. Like Mia was nothing. A sob escaped my lips, hot tears mixing with the downpour. How could she? After everything we'd endured, after the nights I'd spent begging her to love us both the same. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, but my mind raced back to the beginning, to the house that was never a home. It started when Dad walked out, leaving Mom with 2 girls and a mountain of bills. I was the strong one, the one who could run errands, cook meals, pretend everything was fine. Mia was the fragile one, the one who needed extra care after the accident. Mom's eyes would harden whenever Mia's chair creaked across the floor. "Why can't you be more like Elena?" She'd snap, her voice sharp as a knife. I'd see Mia flinch, her small hands twisting in her lap, but she'd never cry in front of us. Not until the whispers started. The ambulance lights flashed red and blue, painting the night in chaos. Paramedics swarmed us, gentle hands lifting Mia onto a stretcher. "What happened?" one asked, shining a light in her eyes. I don't know. She just showed up," I stammered, climbing in after her. As the door slammed shut, my phone buzzed again. Another text from Mom. "She's faking it." Always has. "Leave her there." My stomach twisted. Faking? Mia, who spent her days staring out windows, dreaming of walks she'd never take? Who I'd catch tracing maps on her bedroom walls, planning adventures we'd never have? In the ambulance, Mia gripped my hand, her nails digging in. "Elena," Mom said. She said I was a burden. That's why I left. I couldn't breathe there anymore. Her voice was a rasp, but each word sliced deeper than the last. The betrayal wasn't new. It had been building for years. Like storm clouds, we all pretended were just shade. By the time we reached the hospital, the doctors were rushing. Pneumonia, they said, complicated by her condition. Malnutrition, too. She'd been out in the rain for hours, they guessed, pushing that chair from God knows where. I sat by her bed as they hooked her to machines beeping like accusations. And that's when the memories flooded in, pulling me under. The family dinners where Mom would serve me extra, leaving Mia's plate sparse. "She doesn't need it. She barely moves," she'd say with a laugh that wasn't funny. The school plays where I'd shine on stage and Mia would watch from the wings, her applause the loudest. But Mom? She'd pat my head and ignore the girl in the chair. I texted Mom back for the first time in months. "She's in the hospital." "What is wrong with you?" Her reply came fast. "Good. Maybe it'll teach her to stay away." I dropped the phone, bile rising in my throat. This wasn't just neglect. This was hate, pure and twisted. And in that sterile room, with Mia's chest rising and falling under the oxygen mask, I felt the first crack in my heart widen into a chasm. How had we come to this? Sisters bound by blood, torn by a mother's venom. But as I stroked Mia's hair, something stirred inside me, a quiet fire. I wouldn't let her down. Not like Mom had. Not like I'd feared I already had by leaving. The night stretched on, machines humming their lullaby of worry. Nurses came and went, their footsteps soft echoes of my racing thoughts. I replayed every moment. The accident that stole Mia's legs, Mom's blame shifting to her like a shadow. "If you hadn't run into the street," she'd hiss, even though Mia was just chasing a butterfly. I was there that day holding her hand as the car screeched. Guilt had chained me to that house longer than I should have stayed. But now, with Mia fighting for breath, I saw it clear. Mom's love was a poison, selective and searing. It spared me because I could run, could hide her shame. But Mia? She was the mirror Mom couldn't face. Dawn crept through the blinds, painting gold on Mia's pale face. She woke then, her eyes finding mine. "You came," she whispered. I thought, "After I called, you wouldn't. You called me?" My voice broke. She nodded weakly. "Last night. From the payphone down the block." I didn't know where else to go. And in that moment, as the weight of her words settled, I knew this was no accident. This was a cry, a desperate reach across the miles I'd put between us. The betrayal hung heavy, but so did the love, the stubborn, unbreakable kind that sisters share. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the storm in my soul was just beginning. The hospital room felt like a cage, walls closing in with every beep of the monitor. Mia slept fitfully, her body battling the fever that had gripped her like a thief in the night. I couldn't leave her side, not even to grab coffee. My phone stayed silent after Mom's last message. But the words echoed in my head. "Don't save that cripple." Each syllable was a dagger, twisting deeper as the hours blurred into a haze of worry and rage. I thought back to the weeks before I left home, the final unraveling. It was summer, the air thick with heat and unspoken resentments. Mia had turned 18, but celebrations were for normal families. Mom baked a cake, just one, small and lopsided. "Save it for Elena's birthday next month," she'd said, sliding it into the fridge. Mia's eyes had welled up, but she smiled at me. "It's okay, sis. We can share." But sharing was never enough for Mom. She'd always seen Mia as the flaw in her perfect picture, the reason Dad left, the excuse for every failed job. "If we didn't have her medical bills, we'd be fine," she'd mutter over bills, her eyes flicking to Mia like she was a stain. I'd defend her, of course, screaming matches that left the house shaking. "She's your daughter," I'd yell. Mom would laugh, cold and cutting. "Daughter? She's a weight. And you're the one carrying it all. Don't make me regret keeping you both." One night, it boiled over. Mia had a seizure, her first in years, triggered by the heat, and skipped meds because Mom forgot to refill the prescription. I found her on the kitchen floor, convulsing, foam at her lips. "Mom, call 911!" I screamed, cradling Mia's head. Mom stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "Let it pass. Drama queen, just like her father." Her words froze me. I carried Mia to the car myself, drove to the ER with one hand on the wheel, the other holding her limp fingers. That was the night I packed my bags. "I'm taking her with me," I told Mom. She blocked the door, her face twisted. "Over my dead body. She's mine to deal with, or not." I left alone, the guilt a shadow that followed me to the city. 2 years of waitressing, scraping by, sending what money I could to Mia through a secret account. But the calls stopped coming. Mia's texts grew shorter. "I'm okay. Mom's fine today." Lies I see now. Isolation, that's what Mom did best. She turned our home into a prison, where love was rationed and cruelty was the rule. Back in the hospital, Mia woke gasping, her hand flying to her chest. "Elena? Water?" I held the cup to her lips, steadying her as she sipped. "Tell me everything," I said softly, my voice trembling. "Why did you come to me? What happened at home?" She looked away, tears tracing paths down her cheeks. "It got worse. After you left, Mom. She stopped everything. No more therapy, no chair maintenance. She said I was old enough to earn my keep." "But how?" "I tried cleaning, but she'd yell that I was in the way. Last month, she brought home this guy, Rick. He looked at me like trash. One night, he cornered me in my room. 'Useless girl,' he said, his breath hot on my face. I screamed, and Mom came in. She didn't help. She just said, 'Shut up, Mia. You're scaring him away.' My blood ran cold, a wave of nausea crashing over me. She let him? Mia shook her head. No, I fought. Pushed him with my chair. But after that, she locked my door. Said it was for my own good. Food came through a slot, like I was an animal. I saved bits, planned to leave. Called you from a neighbor's phone when she was out. But the rain? It came so fast. I collapsed before I could knock. I clutched her hand, my nails biting into her skin. I'm so sorry. I should have taken you with me. I was scared, Mia. Scared she'd hurt me too if I tried. The truth spilled out, raw and ugly. I'd built walls around my heart, telling myself distance was protection. But it was cowardice, plain and simple. Mom's betrayal wasn't just words. It was a lifetime of choosing herself over us, of letting darkness fester because it was easier than light. The doctor came in then, a kind woman with tired eyes. She's stable, but it was close. Neglect like this, it's criminal. Criminal. The word hung in the air, heavy as chains. I nodded, my mind spinning. As she left, my phone lit up. A call from Mom. I answered, voice steel. What do you want? Elena, you fool. I told you not to save her. She's draining us dry. Her tone was casual, like discussing groceries. Draining? She's your daughter. How could you lock her away? Let that man near her? Silence, then a scoff. She exaggerated. Rick's gone. And you, always the hero. But heroes end up alone, Elena. Come home. We can forget this. Forget? You texted me to let her die. My whisper was a roar, echoing in the quiet room. Mia's eyes widened, but she squeezed my hand. Stay strong. Mom's laugh chilled me. Die, please. She's tough, like me. But without me, you're nothing. Both of you. I hung up, the click final as a slammed door. Rage boiled, but beneath it, heartbreak flowered, dark and thorny. How does a mother turn so cold? Was it grief for Dad? Fear of her own failures? Or just the slow rot of resentment? I paced the room, fists clenched, until Mia's voice stopped me. Don't, Elena, she's not worth it. But she was wrong. The wound was too deep, the scars too fresh. That night, as Mia slept again, I sat in the dim light, plotting. Not violence, no, that was Mom's language. But justice. Quiet, unyielding. I'd file reports, talk to social workers, expose the monster behind the smile. And in my chest, the broken girl stirred, shedding her skin. I wasn't the scared sister anymore. I was fire, forged in betrayal's blaze. Days blurred into a routine of hospital visits and whispered plans. Social services got involved. A nurse had flagged the neglect. Mia's story poured out in interviews, her voice gaining strength with each telling. Mom said I was a cripple God forgot. But Elena, she sees me. Tears came then for us both. I held her, promising the world. The walks we'd simulate with my arm as her crutch, the home we'd build without locks. Yet the struggle clawed at me in quiet moments. Guilt for leaving, anger at myself for believing Mom's lies that I was the favorite, the only one worthy. It kept me up, staring at the ceiling like that first night. One evening, as rain pattered again, Mia confessed more. She burned your letters, Elena, said you forgot us. I knew better. That's why I came. The revelation shattered me anew. All those notes I'd sent, full of love and escape plans, gone to ash. Betrayal layered upon betrayal, a tapestry of pain. But in the ruins, I found my strength. I hired a lawyer with my savings, started the paperwork for guardianship. Mom called once more, venomous. You'll regret this. I'll tell everyone you're stealing her. Let them hear, I shot back. Let the world know what you are. Hanging up, I looked at Mia, now sitting up, color in her cheeks. We're free, I said. She smiled, real and bright. The transformation was slow, like dawn after endless night, from shattered to whole, from victim to survivor. Me, the runner, now the anchor. Her, the forgotten, now the light. And as we faced the storm together, I knew. Betrayal had broken us, but it wouldn't define us. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and stale coffee, a place where truths were weighed like gold. It had been 3 months since that rainy night, 3 months of hearings and depositions that peeled back the layers of our family's decay. Mia sat beside me in her new chair, sleek, electric, a gift from a fundraiser I'd quietly started online. Her hand in mine was steady, her eyes fierce. We'd come so far, but today was the reckoning. Mom sat across the aisle, her face a mask of indignation, flanked by a cheap lawyer who kept glancing at his watch. She looked smaller than I remembered, the lines around her mouth deeper, her hair unkempt. No Rick, no friends, just her, alone in the echo of her choices. When the judge called the room to order, my heart thundered, but I stood tall. This was revenge, not with fists, but with facts. The kind that lasts. Ms. Ramirez, the judge said, her voice even. You've alleged neglect and endangerment against your mother, Carla Ramirez. Present your case. I took the stand, voice clear despite the knot in my throat. Your Honor, my sister Mia didn't collapse that night by accident. It was the end of years of cruelty. I detailed it all, the skipped meds, the locked door, the man she'd let prowl our home. Exhibits flashed on the screen. Mia's medical records showing untreated infections, texts from Mom cold as winter, even neighbor statements, whispers of screams in the night. Mom's lawyer objected, sputtering about family matters, but the judge silenced him. Then Mia's turn. She wheeled forward, chin high. Mom said I was a burden, a cripple no one wanted, but Elena saved me. Not just that night, she saved my life every day after. Her words hung, simple and searing. The courtroom stilled. I saw Mom flinch, her mask cracking. When Mom testified, the lies tumbled out. They're exaggerating. I did my best. Elena always favored Mia, stole from me to help her. But the evidence mounted like waves. Bank records showing my secret transfers, untouched by Mom. Voicemails where she'd ranted about getting rid of the problem. The climax came with the social worker's report. Chronic emotional abuse, bordering on intent to harm. Mom broke then, tears streaming. You don't understand. After the accident, everything fell apart. Mia. She reminded me of my failures. I couldn't love what broke me. It was the closest she'd come to truth, but too late. The judge's gavel fell like thunder. Guardianship granted to Elena Ramirez. Carla Ramirez, you're ordered to stay away, no contact. And counseling, mandatory. As we left the courthouse, sun breaking through clouds, Mom lunged forward. Elena, wait. This is your fault. You turned her against me. I stopped Mia at my side. No, Mom. You did that all on your own. My voice was calm, a far cry from the girl who'd once begged for her approval. You chose hate over us. Now live with it. She crumpled, sobbing on the steps, her lawyer awkwardly patting her back. No one else came. The consequences rippled out, friends distanced, whispers in our old neighborhood. She sold the house to pay fines, moved to a dingy apartment alone. Reports trickled in. She called Mia once from a blocked number, begging forgiveness. We didn't answer. Revenge unfolded not in a blaze, but a quiet unraveling. I posted our story anonymously online, not for fame, but healing. Views climbed, messages poured in. You're brave. Family isn't blood, it's choice. Donations bought Mia therapy, a ramp for our new home. We moved to a sunny suburb, a 2-bedroom with a garden where she plants flowers that bloom defiant. Evenings, we sit on the porch, her head on my shoulder. I can feel my legs sometimes, she says, in dreams. I smile. One day we'll run together, in our way. The closure came softly, one autumn night. Mia had a setback, a minor infection, echoes of that storm. As I sat vigil, she woke laughing. Remember Mom's texts? They don't hurt anymore. I nodded, tears falling. We're the family now. The one we deserved. Looking back, the betrayal carved us hollow, but from the emptiness, we built something unbreakable. Mom's face haunts me sometimes, twisted in regret, but pity tempers the anger. She taught me what not to be. A mother who measures love by convenience, who discards what's hard. Mia and we chose grace, the hard kind that forgives without forgetting, and the moral, Family isn't given, it's grown, watered with truth and weeded of poison. Betrayal may break you open, but in the mending, you find your strength. Choose your circle wisely, hold the broken close, and never let cruelty dim your light. Because in the end, the greatest revenge is living free, loved, and whole. If this story touched you, hit like, subscribe. Let's share more tales of rising from the ashes. Until next time, remember, your heart is your home. Guard it well,